All right, Sean Patel here with one of the best trainers in the game, arguably the best, Robert Garcia. Robert, man, you got your kid Raymond Muratalla, first title defense, well, second, because he won the interim,
yes,
right,
yes,
man?
yes.
But Conceicao's never been stopped. Do you feel like your guy will be the first one to stop him this weekend?
Well, look, I think he's got the skills, he's got the power, he's got what it takes. So hopefully he is. He's in great shape. But Conceicao a warrior, man. He's a warrior. He's proven it against some of the best fighters in the world that he could compete out there. He's got great fights against big names. So we're gonna do whatever it takes. But yeah, I think Raymond's the one that could do it. He's ready. He's in great shape. Had a great camp, so we should be fine.
He looked, really good, winning against Andy Cruz
Correct.
as an underdog too. But he's had other performances a little more flat. How much of that was from just dealing with the weight cut the right way? And is it good heading into this fight, you feel like?
Look, it's always the best to do it right, and Raymond's been doing it right since he became champion. He's doing the right diets and staying disciplined to his diet. But even then, it's still not easy. Raymond's a big boy. Raymond's is big, and we're definitely considering this could be our last fight at 135. It's not easy, but he's disciplined enough to do it. That's his obligation as a world champion, and he's doing what it takes to make weight and defend his title. But yeah, we're gonna have a good talk after. Our next step might be 140.
How do you think he'll operate at 140? Will he lose anything fighting bigger men, or you think he could be even better at 140?
I think he'll be much better. He'll be much stronger. Cutting to 135 takes a lot out of his body, especially when you're that big and you have very little to cut, but you still force your body to cut it. One day is not enough to recuperate 100%. I think 135 we'll see a way better Raymond than at 135, 100%, and eventually even 147. But step by step.
Guys like Ray and Chop too. They and even Bam. They'll be creative. They'll use some shoulder roll stuff. It's not always just hands up pressure. They have some tricks up their sleeve.
Yes.
How much of that comes from their creativity, and how much of it is you drilling that in them?
No, look, it's natural talent. If it was me, all of my fighters would do it. All of my fighters would be the same. And no, it's impossible. We have 20 plus fighters in my gym, professional fighters, and 2 or 3 are the ones that could do some stuff like that. Bam is special with his footwork and combinations. Raymond is beautiful with his counter punching and his speed, power. Chop is insane with body work. Everybody has their own talent. We just have to obviously bring the best out of it. We work on their talent that they have. But it's natural talent. If it was a trainer, all 20 plus fighters that I have in the gym would be the same way, and it's impossible.
So it's something you let them explore and be creative with, and then you just try to add, do your part to add on.
100%. I know what their best talents are, and we just bring it to just make it much better. But yeah, it's natural talent.
How do you? Shakur saying, he was trying to rush that fight at 35, knowing about the weight cut. But Raymond says we can fight at 140. It doesn't matter.
Shakur's champion at 140.
Right.
So why? There's no need to make it at 135. Shakur's also a smart man, and he might think that's probably the best fight to happen at 135 because he knows Raymond's a big boy. He went to my gym. He's seen Raymond train. He's seen Raymond, how big Raymond is. And he talked to me. He told me that's the fight that he really wants. So hopefully, if everything goes well after this on Saturday night, I would love that fight, but not at 135. I think 140 would be the best.
Why does Ray have the style to beat Shakur?
Well, look, Ray fought great against Andy Cruz. I think very few people expected that. I think very few people expected him to dominate the way he did. Even though it was a close fight, I'm not saying it was an easy fight, but he was always in control, threw really good punches, was able to cut the ring well, keep Andy backing up all the time. I think it could be very similar to Shakur. Obviously, Shakur's a very talented fighter, but Andy's very talented also. I think Raymond's got the style to dominate those type of fighters.
To dominate Shakur.
Yes. Look, Raymond has all Remy needs is that opportunity against those names, those big fights. And I think a good performance Saturday night against Conceicao will put him there to where the boxing world will say, "Look, we want to see him against Shakur. We want to see him against the big names in those divisions." So I think we're very close to being able to be in those fights, those positions.
Let me ask you about